I want this one. This one's mine. Okay, there we go. So, I don't think anyone's actually asked you guys this yet, but how y'all doing tonight? Alright, that's good. Let's be live and active, and let's just laugh at everything I say. That sounds good, yes? Well, it's great to be here tonight. It's great to see you all. And it's really great to be back at Geneva, but I must say, I had a really awesome summer. I got the opportunity to work as a camp counselor, and that was the first time I've ever done that, and that was quite the experience. And you know what I learned? Kids are crazy. Like, they do the weirdest things. Like, for example, I had to teach Bible study, which was really cool because it's a Christian camp. And we were talking about heaven. And heaven's kind of a hard topic for children to understand. So I said, hey, kids, if you have any questions about heaven, just ask me, that's fine. And one kid's just like, ooh, are there salt and vinegar chips in heaven? And I was like, yeah, of course there's salt and vinegar chips in heaven. Oh my goodness. But not all the questions were that easy to answer. One kid was like, all right, so what if I fall through heaven? I was like, that's not really how it works. And he's like, okay, I get that, but what if it happens? So I explained to him that heaven isn't actually this like cloud that's just floating around the sky, and that he definitely wouldn't fall through it. And he's like, okay, I hear you, but what if it happens? I said, no salt and vinegar chip for you then. I didn't say that, that'd be cool. So, like I said, I'm glad to be here. This actually isn't my first time doing stand-up here at Geneva. If you guys remember, I was here last year. I'm sure every single person in this room remembers that vividly, even people that weren't here. I'm pretty sure they did like a newscast. A local hero brings hope to Geneva and the world. Alright, maybe it wasn't that good, but I mean, I got my 2 weeks of fame, and that was pretty awesome. I remember distinctly one time, these girls come up to me, and they're just like, hey, are you that funny guy? And I was like, oh my gosh, girls are talking to me. Okay. I know what to do. I've rehearsed this. So I just like lean up against the nearest wall, and I'm just like, maybe. And so they come and hang out with me and some of my friends, and I was just like, friends, these are my groupies, these are my friends. And they didn't like to be called that. Apparently I hadn't achieved rock star status yet. But they come back later, and they bring this guy, and they're just like, okay, this guy is funny. He's gonna tell you something so hilarious. Do it. And he's like, oh, so you're funny? And I was like, I guess. And he's just like, all right, say something funny. Go. And I was just like, I did that for like 6 minutes. I'm not even kidding. And then I was like, ooh, I got one. Your mother is so dazzling that your dad duct taped her to the side of the house for Christmas. And he was just like, my dad did what? So yeah, and then the girls were just like, yeah, you're not really funny anymore, you should work on that. I was like, thanks, it's always good to meet fans. Oh my goodness. I just realized I forgot a really awesome story about summer camp, so I'm going back to summer camp. My favorite activity to teach, well, okay, not my favorite activity to teach, my favorite activity to do, because it's terrible to teach, archery. You ever have a bunch of 10-year-old children with a bunch of like sharpened metal sticks that fly at 100 miles an hour? So not fun to teach, fun to do, not fun to teach. But whenever I taught it, we went down to the rec center and we had to do it in like a racquetball court. You ever been in a racquetball court? They're really small and the walls are meant to be bounced off of. So every time a kid would line up a shot, I'd be like, okay, ready, go. Good try, Billy. Good try. You got game over there, but you get a point for that. It's stuck. There was one girl. All right. There was one girl. She pulls back the string. She's ready to fire. When she released, here's what happened. The bow goes flying. The arrow just drops. She did not shoot an arrow with a bow. She shot a bow with an arrow. Wrap your minds around that. And then she turns to me and goes, does that count? And I was like, stuck, so yeah. There was also one little girl, like, teaching little girls was honestly usually the worst, because they didn't have the upper body strength to pull it back. This little girl though, very small, like, I don't know, 8-year-old girl, picks up this bow and just pulls it all the way back with no effort. And I like freaked out. I was like, how are you doing this? You're a small child. Which like, she's like, And I was like, well, there's no way she's gonna be like accurate. She's gotta be struggling to pull this. She releases, bam, right in the red. It was epic. I freaked out and I was like, how did you do this? How many times have you done archery? And she's like, once, but I watch a lot of Brave. And that's when they started just showing that movie for archery class, and they just fired me. Okay, so we go back to where I was previously before I went to previously and all that stuff happened. So a lot of people after I did stand-up last year asked me stuff like, Nate, how are you so funny? What do you have to do stand-up? So lucky you guys, I'm gonna take that question out of the picture for after the show because I'm gonna give you Nathan's pro tip on how to be funny. Step 1, get a sound amplifying stick. Everyone seems to assume that you are hilarious if you are carrying one of these things around. And also they think you're weird because you're carrying a microphone around. But second step, this one's important, so everyone focus. You wanna get all eyes on you. All attention needs to be focused on this area. Then, when they're least expecting it, do the most shocking thing you can think of. So anyway. No, but seriously, I think the reason I'm able to do stand-up is because the weirdest things happen to me. I get so many stories just because this crazy stuff happens to me. Don't believe me? Here's a good example. I once was bitten by a dead cat. Warning, if you like cats, there's gonna be a dead cat. So here's what happens. I had this cat and it was pretty sick, and so we knew it wasn't gonna last, and it passed, and I was there and I was like, oh Daredevil Bob. Not even kidding, that was his name. Couldn't decide between Daredevil and Bob, so we just went with both. But I stroked it out of like, trying to have a tender moment with this dead cat. And then it had like a nerve twitch and just right on my finger. And I was like, ow, I'm glad you're dead. That's not totally true. But, you know, I feel like we've kind of gotten to know each other a bit tonight, so I'm gonna admit a deep, dark secret to you all. I haven't been the same since that day. I started to feel the change coming. Every full moon, I turned into a cat. Yes, I am a werecat. It was really difficult to cope with at first, because I just didn't know to plan for my changes. I would be walking with my friends and I'd forget that it was the full moon. And then I'd feel it coming and I'd scream, everyone, run! Run before I meow! And then I'd just wake up covered in yarn and find out that my friends did a viral video of me, which is super embarrassing. So I just decided to lock myself in a storage locker with a saucer of milk to eat, a little mouse toy to feast my savage bloodlust, and a litter box to, well, if you don't know what that's for, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But seriously, so many weird things happen to me. I'm going to give you one more example of this. One time, I was in the hospital for a little procedure, they call it upper GI, and they take a picture of the inside of your stomach, which was cool, because they gave me the picture, and I kept that for a bit, and I'd be like, hi, I'm Nathan Straight. Here's the inside of my stomach. Was not very popular that year, but I had fun. But anyway, after I woke up, I looked around and I noticed, oh, okay, I'm in a hospital. And I don't know if you've ever been like put under before, but when you wake up, you're kind of... So I look around, realize I'm in a hospital, and I look down at my gut, and I'm just like, oh, I'm pregnant! Yay! It turns out I wasn't pregnant, which I guess is kind of a relief, because I'm pretty sure us werecats have up to like 9 at a time, and that's a lot of responsibility that I don't think I'm quite ready for yet. You guys have been an awesome audience, thank you all very much.